Okay, so today we're going to look at, well, it's Guan Yu, obviously, but not just like, another one of his big, battlefield victories. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, this is different. It's actually well, someone saving his life, basically. Someone you probably haven't even heard of.
Exactly. Haima Bon. Like, if you know Three Kingdoms really well, maybe you've heard of him, but this isn't like, slaying Hua Xiong or anything.
Right.
This is a deep dive into like this really specific moment that could change everything.
Yeah, and it shows you something really important about like, loyalty and all the crazy politics back then.
Oh, for sure. It's wild. So for anyone listening, just to, set the scene, we're talking Three Kingdoms period. We've got Guan Yu. The guy's already a legend at this point. I mean, think about it.
Oh yeah, he's taken down some serious names.
Yeah, Hua Xiong. Like, come on. Slew Hua Xiong with warm wine still in his cup. That's like instant legend status. And then later on, bam, Yan Liang and Wen Chao. Down they go. So we're talking about a guy who's basically an unstoppable force.
Pretty much, yeah.
But now he's on this journey, right? And he ends up in Xinjiang, which is controlled by this governor, Wang Zi. And Wang Zi, well, let's just say he's got his own agenda, a dangerous one.
And that's where things get interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And luckily for us, we've got this text. It's just labeled jag.pdf, but it breaks down like the whole thing.
It's great. It's really detailed. You get the whole picture of how this all went down.
So the story starts with Wang Zi calling in one of his officers, Han Ban.
Right.
And at first, it seems pretty normal. Wang Zi's all nice, asking Han Ban how he's doing, being all friendly.
Standard procedure.
Totally.
Yeah.
And Han Ban's like, yeah, I'm good, thanks for asking. But then, bam, Wang Zi drops this bombshell on him. He basically says, hey, get 1,000 guys together. Keep it quiet, though. Armed with torches and tons of dry firewood. And when the third watch hits, midnight, you torch the Xinjiang post station. And guess who's staying at that post station?
Guan Yu and his whole crew?
Exactly.
It's cold, man.
Brutal.
Like, you really see how treacherous and cutthroat things were back then.
Right.
This wasn't just some random order. It gets really personal, and it tells you a lot about the whole political scene, late Han Dynasty, people switching sides, ambition trumping loyalty.
Yeah.
It was messy.
Totally. And the thing is, Wang Zi has got this huge chip on his shoulder about Guan Yu. He's furious that Guan Yu wouldn't even consider Cao Cao's offers. I mean, we're talking high rank, tons of rewards, beautiful women, the works.
Yeah, it's like Wang Zi just couldn't wrap his head around Guan Yu's loyalty.
Yeah.
His oath to his sworn brother. It was like a personal insult to Cao Cao's power.
Exactly. And it goes even deeper than that. Wang Zi is convinced that this whole three-article agreement thing, the terms Guan Yu was serving Cao Cao under, that was all just for show.
Like a PR stunt.
Exactly.
Right.
He thinks Cao actually wants Guan Yu dead, but doesn't want to get his own hands dirty.
Yeah, have someone else do the dirty work for him. Win-win, right? At least in Wang Zi's mind.
And we can't forget the personal vendetta angle. The text specifically mentions that one of Wang Zi's relatives was killed by Guan Yu. So it's not just politics, it's revenge. Pure and simple.
Powerful motivator, revenge.
Yeah.
Especially back then, it was like a matter of honor.
Yeah, absolutely. And Wang Zi's even like, oh, that agreement Cao Cao made, just reputation building. He sees this as his chance to get rid of Guan Yu and score points with Cao Cao at the same time.
Classic opportunism.
Oh, yeah. Plus, he knows Guan Yu's a beast on the battlefield. The text literally says his own guys wouldn't stand a chance against Guan Yu in a straight fight during the day. So he's got to be sneaky, hit him at night with fire when he's vulnerable.
Smart, but ruthless. It's like they knew they couldn't beat him head on, so they had to resort to underhanded tactics.
Exactly. So to make sure Hu Aban goes along with this insane plan, he dangles a big promotion and a ton of rewards in front of him.
Standard procedure.
Yeah. So Hu Ban walks out of there with this order to basically commit mass murder. And the text really gets into his head at this point. You can tell he's completely torn.
Oh yeah, the guy's going through it.
On the one hand, it's a direct order from his boss, the guy who can make or break his career. But on the other hand, he knows about Guan Yu. Everyone knows about Guan Yu.
I mean, how could you not?
Exactly. Slaying Hua Xiong with warm wine still in his cup, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
So he's got this moral dilemma on his hands. Does he follow orders and potentially be part of this horrific act? Or does he do something else? But he doesn't even know Guan Yu personally. He only knows the legend.
Right.
So he makes a decision. He's got to see this Guan Yu for himself before he does anything.
Which is kind of incredible when you think about it. I mean, in that kind of society, to even hesitate to question an order like that,
Yeah,
that takes guts.
big time.
So he heads over to the post station and asks where Guan Yu is. They tell him he's in the main hall, just chilling, reading a book. And that image, I think that says a lot about Guan Yu right there.
Total composure. Doesn't even seem phased.
Right. He's in enemy territory, there's this plot against him, but he's just calmly reading. And when Hu Ban finally sees him, the text uses this amazing description, Hu Diovla, like, wow, what a handsome bearded gentleman, he's like a god.
It's like Hu Ban's whole perception of Guan Yu is changing right there.
Totally. He's not seeing some bloodthirsty monster, he's seeing this dignified, almost divine figure. And then Guan Yu, being the polite guy he is, looks up and asks Hu Ban who he is.
Always the gentleman, even in a situation like this.
For real. So Hu Ban tells him he's an officer under Wang Ji, but then this crazy thing happens, and Guan Yu's like, wait a minute, is your father old Mr. Hu Hua from outside Xuchang?
He remembers.
Yeah. It's this totally unexpected connection that throws a wrench into everything. Huayan Ban's stunned. He's like, yeah, that's my dad. And suddenly, there's this bond, this trust, where before there was only danger.
It's a game changer.
It is. And Guan Yu, being the smart guy he is, sees an opportunity. He's like, oh, you know what? I actually have a letter from your dad for you.
Genius.
Right. Now he has a legitimate reason to talk to Hu Ban to tell him what's going on.
Clever move. And Hu Ban, obviously, is thrilled to get news from his dad. So he takes the letter and starts reading. And that's when the whole awful truth about Wang Zi's plan hits him.
Yeah, the letter from old Mr. Hu Hua is amazing. It tells you so much about Guan Yu from someone who actually knew him. He talks about how Guan Yu stayed at their house, how impressed he was with his loyalty and righteousness. He even mentions the Peach Garden Oath, Guan Yu's promise to his sworn brothers, his dream of restoring the Han dynasty. And the key thing is, no matter what anyone offered Guan Yu, money, power, anything, he never wavered.
Unwavering commitment.
That's Guan Yu. And for Hu Ban, reading this letter from his own father, it's like a revelation. He sees how evil Wang Zi's plan is. He's like, I almost helped kill this amazing guy. What was I thinking?
It's a turning point for him. That letter becomes his moral compass.
It really does. He goes from being this reluctant pawn to someone who understands what's at stake, and he has to act.
Right away.
Exactly. So he lays it all out for Guan Yu. Tells him about the fire, the third watch, the whole plan. He doesn't hold back. He tells Guan Yu everything.
And he's clearly remorseful, too. He feels terrible for being put in this position.
Yeah, he's like, look, I never wanted to be a part of this.
And that sincerity, plus the letter from his dad, it convinces Guan Yu that Hu Ban is on his side.
Absolutely. But Hu Ban doesn't just warn him. He comes up with a plan. He's like, get your people together, and I'll open the city gates for you tonight. Then, to cover your escape, I'll set fire to the post station later.
Whoa, hold on. That's a huge risk.
It is. He's directly disobeying a direct order. But he can't let Guan Yu die. His conscience won't let him.
I mean, talk about a gutsy move.
Right.
So what happens next?
Guan Yu's obviously grateful. He's like, dude, you're saving my life. He gathers his people, including his two sisters-in-law, and they get ready to make a run for it.
And Hu Ban keeps his word. He goes to the city gates, gets them opened under cover of darkness, and Guan Yu and his group slip out.
And to sell the lie, he sets fire to the post station like he promised. Then he goes back to Wang Zi and tells him Guan Yu escaped.
Ooh, I bet Wang Zi was not happy.
Understatement. The text says he went ballistic, started calling his guys race buckets like they were completely useless.
He's probably thinking, how could this happen? I had it all planned out.
Right. But he's sure Guan Yu couldn't have gotten far. So he rounds up his troops and takes off after him.
Man, this is getting intense.
Oh, it gets even better. So Guan Yu and his party, they're making their escape, and they see the fire back in Xinjiang.
Visual reminder of how close they were to being. Exactly. And just when they think they might be in the clear, they see torches in the distance.
No.
Wang Zi and his men are hot on their trail.
Wang Zi's shouting at Guan Yu to stop.
So there's no avoiding it now.
Nope. Guan Yu knows he can't run forever. So he stops, turns around, and draws his green dragon crescent blade.
Time for a showdown.
Yeah, and before they even clash, Guan Yu calls Wang Zi out. He's like, what was the point of trying to kill me? You had no reason, and now you're chasing me down. This is too much.
I bet that didn't go over well.
Not at all. Wang Zi's so mad he doesn't even reply. He just charges at Guan Yu with his spear.
Big mistake.
Huge mistake.
So what happened?
It's over in a flash. Guan Yu is just too good. Couple of moves and Wang Zi's down.
And just like that, the threat is gone.
But get this, Guan Yu doesn't kill Wang Zi's men. He tells them what happened, says he only had a problem with Wang Zi, and tells them to get lost.
That's surprisingly merciful.
I know, right? It shows he's not a bloodthirsty maniac. He just wants to be left alone.
And they scatter, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, they're out of there. So Guan Yu continues on his journey, safe and sound, thanks to Huban.
What a story, huh?
It really is. And it all comes back to Huban's actions. He risked everything, his job, his life, to save Guan Yu.
All because of his conscience and the respect he had for Guan Yu.
Yeah, he could have easily just followed orders, got his reward, and moved on, but he couldn't do it. He knew it was wrong.
And the text makes a big deal about that. It calls it a righteous deed and says people still remember it today.
Which is incredible, right? It shows you the power of one person standing up for what's right, even when it's dangerous.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder that we all have choices to make.
Exactly. So for anyone listening, think about it. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to choose between what was easy and what was right? What did you do? And what does that say about you?
Deep stuff.
It really is. And I think that's a good place to leave it for today.
Yeah, lots to think about.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time.
See ya.